Hello, horror fans. The internet is an environment where we can meet many different people, only we don't know what is behind the monitor, the other side. Will it be a gentle, sensitive person, or some villain who will turn your life into a nightmare? Let's call this story Welcome Home.
My name is James, and I used to live in a big city. I am 38 years old now, and a few years ago, the stress and depression of the urban world got over me. Being single, and having no family wasn't helping either. And the only thing I did with my friends was going for drinks. So, I decided to search for some other place to start over. Thanks to the internet, I was able to meet a woman in her late 20s who lived in a small town. She sent me pictures of it, and I just loved it. The town was simply named Home. This was already a good sign from the universe, I thought to myself. Plus, my female pen pal Gloria said she was able to get me a job in her father's farm, and, if that wasn't enough, Gloria mentioned that I could rent a cottage in her father's property, where I could stay for the first year or so upon my arrival, until I didn't find anything better or suitable. The cottage, following Gloria's description, and again, pictures, was actually quite modern and appealing. I was definitely convinced. So, in less than 2 months, I quit my city job in a boring call center, left my apartment, and went to hometown. Regardless how small it was, home still had its own center. Very few buildings. A couple of public ones, also one restaurant, a convenience store, and a snack bar. Gloria was waiting for me in front of the local restaurant. And she looked exactly like in her pictures. I was happy and excited when I parked my car and finally met her. Hello Gloria, at last, we are officially real human beings to each other, I said.
Hey James, indeed we are. Welcome to home. It's the first day of your new life.
She replied. Yes, I'm a little nervous. But it's a good kind of nervous. Home is my home now, I said, immediately regretting my bad joke. But Gloria actually laughed at it. In any case, I was to follow Gloria to her father's property. She would drive in her car, and of course, I would be right behind her, using my own vehicle. Within 25 minutes of driving through forests and mountains, we arrived. It was in fact a big property. It seemed well preserved. There was a big gate, which, I assumed after Gloria used her cell phone to call in, opened itself, in front of us. Inside, I was impressed with how vast the whole place was. I saw a few people, some of them carrying tools, others bags, and something else. There was a decent number of small buildings. Like a barn. The farm was definitely alive and breathing. Me and Gloria parked our cars in a section of the property which was obviously reserved to such effect. There were other vehicles around. We got out, and she took me for a small tour for me to get to know the surroundings. Gloria's family produced its own milk and sold cattle for their meat. Also, chickens, which also meant eggs, and different fruit trees. And some more vegetables too. Meanwhile, it was already 8 p.m. This was in March, so it was already dark. I settled myself in the cottage that I was going to rent, and paid my $200 for the month. A real bargain. Then I went to have dinner with Gloria and her family. I met her father, mother, and 2 older brothers. They were all very nice, and the food was delicious. Roasted chicken with potatoes and carrots. Everything was excellent, and came from the farm itself. So, Mr. Murray. It was Gloria's family name. I was addressing her father. When do I start working? And what will I do? I asked.
If it's okay with you, James, you will start working tomorrow. In the meat section.
He answered. Very well. Can you be more specific? I asked again.
You will find out when it's time. Don't worry.
Suddenly, I started feeling sleepy. I tried to fight, but I was unable. When I woke up, I wasn't in my bed. I was tied up to a table where I was lying. Around me, I could feel the scent of blood. There were several torches lit up, and I could also smell that something was being cooked near me. "What is this? Let me out of here!" I shouted, trying to get away. Gloria was now looking at me. From where I stood, I could only see the faces that would come close and stare at me. Gloria was smiling. But it was a different smile, a hungry smile. I noticed she was dressed in some strange and colorful clothes. She spoke to me.
James, me and my family, we have a distinct culture and ritual. And diet. We are close to nature and spirituality, and we believe that eating human flesh heals our soul and makes us pure. I'm sorry, but you will be our prey and our meal for this month to come. This building where you are is a slaughterhouse. You will be cooked in that wonderful soup. Can you smell it?
I started screaming as I listened to weird chantings around me. Then I heard someone sharpening a knife, and I felt the blade pierced into my right leg. They were trying to cut it off. I was lying there, wearing only my underwear. I was going to be slaughtered alive. The fear was so overwhelming, my mind just wanted to disconnect it. I felt my warm blood starting to pour down my leg. I couldn't believe my luck when I heard several voices and people coming inside the slaughterhouse, screaming,
"Freeze, FBI. Drop those knives, all of you. You're under arrest."
I was saved. I was laughing out of happiness as the agents set me free. And I was assisted right there, regarding the small wound in my leg. But the leg was still there. I was still there. This is what happened. Gloria's family was under investigation for a while by the FBI. There were reports that people sometimes just disappeared near their farm, never to be seen again. So, Gloria's farm was under surveillance for a few months. And one of them was working undercover, posing as a worker of the farm. The feds were informed that a new guest was coming. Hence, the operating was prepared. Obviously, the FBI never suspected they were dealing with a cannibal cult. Nevertheless, I returned to my stressful life in the big city. But for a while, I don't think I will find it depressing.
You can be happy if you survive the first date. And how does your first date end? Leave your comments below. Fearful dreams, and see you soon.